so cute.
We are. What's love got to do with it? What's love but a second-hand emotion? Well, you know what? Love's got everything to do with it. I hope you enjoyed that embarrassing moment from me, but I do love my wig and I look good in purple. Hey guys, happy Friday. This is Kat. If we haven't met, I am Kat Trelinos, not Tina Turner. I'm sure you were fooled for a minute there with Ta-Da by Kat Next Level Staging and Design. And my guest today, Jenn Colmenares. Did I pronounce that right? Colmenares?
Absolutely, yes.
Jenn is going to share, this is her second time on our show. It's been a while and we're so happy to have her back. And she is a life coach. She helps folks really navigate through being the best version of themselves and uncovering what that is, not finding it, but uncovering what it really is and was always meant to be. Self-love. What does love have to do with it? Everything. And Jenn's going to talk about self-love and how self-love does not have to be scary. We're going to toggle into that about energy. And there's 7 chakras. If y'all have probably heard of chakras, but don't know too much about them, there's 7. We could spend a half hour on each of them, but we're going to talk about the heart chakra today because that's directly related and one of Jenn's favorite chakras to self-love. So Jenn, welcome. Thank you for taking time. And you know what? Jenn's Wi-Fi went out from our winds, I believe, here in Houston. And so she made it happen in her car with her puppy in the back. And thank you for that, Jenn. I appreciate you making it happen for us in our viewers today. So tell us a little bit about Jenn and how you got into what you do, helping folks. And then we'll dive right into the topic of self-love.
Well, yeah, I mean, really, it all circles around because it's about listening to your heart and about following that passion, and which I've always had. Like, I've always known that people are my passion. Anybody will tell you always, like, that's what I wanted to do. I just wanted to love on people. So how do you do that? I started at the age of 17. I was volunteering. I learned that I love the misfits and the rebels in the crowd because I was one of them. So those were my people. From there, I went and got my addiction counseling degree, our certification actually, and worked with youth here I am, I'm like 17, 18, and I'm working with 12 and 13-year-olds and 14-year-olds just being,
that's amazing.
Liaison between them getting out of, rehab because people put them there because they were different. And then, integrating back into society and, talking to the parents and talking to that, but then also finding the fun that made them want to do better and be better and seek different things in their lives. So
absolutely. Our youth are so important. So let's dive right in. And thank you for that, Jenn, giving us a little bit of background. I know your background's very rich.
So here we are.
And here we are.
Through momhood and entrepreneurship and everything else, here I am teaching people the same thing, but on a different level.
Absolutely. So, we all have heard that, it starts with self-love. You don't really, if you come from an empty cup, you have nothing to give. So it starts with self-love. And I think that many, especially women, maybe men, some men as well, but many women are, so consumed and wrapped up with giving to, supporting family and, mothers, fathers, spouses, children, etc., that they feel guilty. Or, as we opened up the show, they're really afraid, what does that even look like, self-love? So if you can talk about that a little bit of, how to identify that and what is maybe 2 or 3 things that someone could do to start integrating that self-love so they come from a full place.
Right. Absolutely. I automatically comes to mind as moms.
Yep.
Moms, we're so good at everything going out. We get up in the morning so that we can get the kids up in the morning. Like, we get this so that we can make them breakfast. Everything is for them and for a purpose. But think about it. When you're empty in those mornings, those are the mornings that you're frustrated and that aren't fun, and that, everybody just kind of feeds off of everybody and it snowballs. For me, first thing in the morning, I'm like, this is a great example, and it doesn't take any more time, is when my alarm goes off. Before I even open my eyes, I get in my heart space. I think of something and somebody that I love, and I feel that, and I swim in it, and I bathe in it, and I imagine it, and I get in that vibration and that frequency, and I feel it. And then I imagine it radiating out. Imagine it radiating out, not just in my room and my house, but into my community and beyond. And that takes all of 5 minutes, maybe.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, that you
and then
get
don't open your eyes.
in your heart space. Yeah. It's funny that you say that. Probably the last 6 months or so, I find myself, like, my husband will tell me that I'll be laughing in my sleep or whatever. So in the last couple hours before I get up, I'll be in and out, and I've just been moved to smile in my sleep while my eyes are closed and get in what you call the heart space. And what a way to start your day before you even plant your feet on the floor, right? Is to send out that high frequency, that gratefulness, that beauty, that transference, because, thoughts do become things. And, I think this is one of the most simplistic, and, as you call it, easy things and ways to manifest our day.
Absolutely. Yes.
And isn't that self-love? You owe yourself 5 minutes. So who doesn't have 5 minutes to do that, right? To get in your heart space before you
to feel good.
What's that?
To feel good. 5 minutes to feel good. Like, yeah.
Yes, I love that. That's awesome. So
yeah,
let's talk about, frequency and energy. There's a saying that I have on my board in the last few months, and that is, your energy introduces you before you ever speak. So think about that. I'm going to say it again. Your energy introduces you before you even speak. And unfortunately, we, like, as you say, we feed off of that energy. So if we're in a negative space, that's what we're giving off, and that's what will multiply. That's why, we've all had days where it's like everything, one of my assistants called it, is a shit show. Everything collapses, everything falls apart. And, we need to recheck ourselves and see, how did we start? Did we start off in a positive, heart space place? And it really starts with our thoughts, to project those frequency. Would you agree with that, Jenn?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Your thoughts, and then just kind of letting them go, and thinking bigger than you, outside of yourself. Gratitude is, that's it. Everything is gratitude. Gratitude generates love.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I know, for many, it's hard, it's hard to feel grateful, when your life is a shit show on that day. But I think that's where you have to surrender. You have to surrender.
I giggle because, I giggle those days.
You have to surrender from what is, and let it go. Because when you're constricting like this, you're expanding it. And that's how that day becomes a kind of crumbling stack of cards, I think.
Right.
Because, we think we're just energy, but this is energy, this is energy. Everything is energy, because we're all connected, living and inanimate. Let's talk about, so I love that. That's a great way for someone to say, well, I don't have time for self-love. And for me, I'm taking the kids here. I'm doing this for my husband. I'm cooking. I'm doing that. I'm working all day. So that's something I love. That's very practical that you can do. What's another tip that you could share with our viewers that they could practice today, tomorrow on self-love if they're struggling with that?
Breathing and breath work. And this is what I love. And I guess this is why I'm in the car. I do breath work in the car. I mean, it's a beautiful place.
What's my favorite place to do it?
Yes. I mean, it's meditation time. I'm listening to normally something that's motivational, that's uplifting. And then just breath work and really connecting with, inhaling all the way and into your belly, and then exhaling your diaphragm, all the way, using all of those muscles, like you're zipping.
Absolutely.
Like you're zipping up all the way and then letting it exhale.
You're still driving safe, so I love this. I've talked about on previous shows that exercise is accumulative. You can be at home, you can drop down and do 10 push-ups off the counter, and then do some jumping jacks or whatever. And it's accumulative. You can do it in 10-minute parts. And I love this. We have all such, busy, complicated lives, but we are in a car, most of us, a lot of the time, and we don't realize we can do diaphragmatic breathing is what Jenn is talking about. I did an episode on site in East Shore a couple of years, maybe a year ago, on showing just that, taking in at 8 counts, holding it for 8 counts, and exhaling completely, as Jenn says, for another 8 counts. You would be amazed what this does for your psyche, for your emotional well-being. I started doing it probably 15 years ago because I found myself, I was a natural shallow breather, which I think many of us are, and if you are conscious and you catch yourself, you're like, oh, I'm kind of holding my breath. I'm not really taking full diaphragmatic breaths. And what does that do for us? Breath connects us to source. I think there's a couple verses in the Bible that talk about that. So this breathing that you're talking about, it's so powerful and so practical because we can do it anywhere. We can do it while we're working out. We can do it before we go to sleep, but driving.
And I think about it, I'm like, it's all new energies that you're drinking in, that you're inhaling. Like those are atoms from, other places, and you want to get rid of what's in there. Like all of that is stagnant. So move it out so that you're open and you're able to be a vessel for all of this new information and new energy and new frequencies that are coming through.
Absolutely. So how would someone know who, isn't real versed in the topic of chakras? It's obvious your heart chakra is in the middle of your chest, but how would someone know if their heart chakra is being blocked? And then let's talk about, and I'm sure the first 2 tips that you gave are probably an answer to that, but what's a good indicator for someone to know if their heart chakra is possibly blocked?
Insecurity. First off is posture. I'm like, how are you sitting? How are you holding yourself? If you're leading with your heart and you're leading with love, then you're automatically, sitting up, shoulders back, you're feeling it and you're radiating from this area. So that's huge. Here I am, I'm like all slunched in my car. But yes, I'm like, so radiating and walking from this area and leading from your heart, physically leading from your heart so that you emotionally lead from your heart. We got imposter syndrome is a big one. We all kind of feel not worthy at times, and we get kind of hung up in some of that old fear That's a huge, like if your heart chakra is blocked or not even blocked. So, I mean, there are different levels. It can be too open, it can be too closed. The point is, and the goal is to align all of them so that you're operating and you're raising your frequency and your vibrations to tune to your soul song. So yes, our heart chakra, feeling it, feeling that love, finding that gratitude and being in that moment when you're breathing will snap you right there. It's like a mini vacation that you're carrying around, that much power to go anywhere in the world, anywhere in this galaxy.
I love it. I love it. So can we dive a little deeper in terms of what would be a simplistic layman's term to define, and again, we're not going through all 7 chakras, but I like how you talked about that they need in balance, because, it's no different than what we put in our bodies. We can't just eat one thing or the other. We need a balance of nutrition and nutrients to be healthy and to maximize this, bio suit that we've been given from source. So talk about a little dive into the energy, maybe from, just a little bit of a medical standpoint. What do these chakra areas
like Chinese medicine, which some of us might be familiar with, or if you've done any EFT tapping, energy work, meridians. So we have meridians.
That's the work I was. Yes.
So we have
meridians. And acupuncture, isn't that the same with acupuncture? They are tuning into the meridians, basically the chakras and the meridians. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
And so the meridians are energy fields that connect to vascular, circulatory, organ, really our whole body, right?
Correct. The meridians is where kind of all of that connects and comes out. So our brain is like the master organ, and I like to think of it, it's like the root of the tree. It's where everything comes from, or it's the root ball. Everything stems from there. So it goes down your spinal cord and comes out into the different nerves and into the different fingerlings, into the different, vascular systems and organs and circulatory system and our skeletal system. But then all of those even have fingers, and they connect to the cells and create, cells together create those different tissues that vibrate on different frequencies. That's what makes them different cells. And then they have receptors that are communicating with the universal energies. I mean, there's energy all around us. So really tuning in to how you're feeling and where you're feeling it in your body is a great start to when you're laying there closing your eyes in the morning and coming from that place of gratitude. Where's your attention going? What is taking your attention away? And then where
attention? Absolutely. And as you said, it starts at the root, which is your thoughts. And it's not just a tagline, thoughts become things, but we can, if you're aware of it, I forget how many, something like, you might know the number, how many thoughts, random thoughts we have as human beings.
Oh,
some crazy 165,000.
It's like 90,000 before we even open our eyes, I think.
Yeah, it's crazy. And, we can monitor, we can stop that chatter, I guess. And I think it's like no one, even healers and spiritual thought thinkers, etc., are not perfect. I'll never forget Deepak Chopra. We had seen a program speech that he had done, my husband and I, and somebody had asked a question in the audience, and he said something like, well, and he gave his opinion. He goes, and they were talking about judging. He goes, and now I'm judging. I'm telling you this, and I'm judging you. So even Deepak is not, above what the human experience. But that's okay, because if you have an understanding of it, you can put it in check. Yep. And as you become more evolved and enlightened, I've found, you catch yourself going, no, that's a negative thought. No, I'm not going to judge that person. No, I'm not going to, God bless them, instead of a judgy, and that's catching, that's taking the veil off first and being aware and going, I'm catching myself, because we are human, having a human experience, and we're not perfect.
Well, and I think that's the beauty in it. And I really think that's the magic in learning the universal laws, is how fast can you recover to continue playing the game?
How fast can you recover what?
How fast can you recover from those thoughts and pick up the gratitude ball to play to continue to play the fun game of what you want to manifest and what you want to bring to you.
Yes. And, for me anyway, and everybody is different, sometimes I have out of body, like I'm looking at myself going, you're being really negative here. You need to stop it. You change your thoughts. And that's a key point that you bring up is, as we become more and more aware of it, we can circumvent it quicker so that we can be, the best version of who we were meant to be.
Yes.
You talk about, I think in something I read, let me find it here. So talk a little bit about Eden before we run out of time here. Eden Evolution, that's your company, your coaching company. Is that correct?
So yes, the Eden Evolution that's my fun. I'm all about finding the fun always, but my Eden Evolution is workshops and retreats. I'm doing one-on-one coaching, but then mainly workshops and retreats, just to share my lifestyle so that people can garner what I've learned and tips and tricks and tools that they can use. Absolutely. and take back and implement immediately into their life.
I love it. And I think we're on the brink of a new moon, aren't we? And you and I chatted. Yes. As of yesterday. Yes. And I know you and I talked when we were chatting last week about like a new moon ritual. Did that take place?
It did. So full moon. So yes, had a full moon manifestation circle. So that's my Eden of fun. Like stuff like that is pulling women together and creating community to learn and embrace that feminine, divine feminine aspect of ourselves and learn to tap in and then really tune up to that frequency so that we're truly being the goddesses that we're meant to be.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, it starts with one tool, one technique, communing with others. If you don't know how to manifest it, I love that you garnish the power of other women and of course the power of the universe, the moon, etc. to put that together. I was hoping that I would be able to attend and time constrained, but
I think the 19th of November is the next one.
Okay, the 19th of November. And what's the best way for someone to reach you? Do you have a Facebook page?
I do, Facebook page. So Jenn Colmenares, my name is on below my face here. Yep. They can find me there. And then my website, JennColmenares.com. And then always my number, call or text 281-466-7418. And I can put that.
One more time on your number.
281-466-7418.
Awesome. Yeah. I told you my contacts are kind of screwing up here. So we still have actually about 5 more minutes. So What didn't we discuss that you would like to share, Jenn, with folks, on having a difficult time with self-love?
It's not about making the time. It's about taking the time. It doesn't,
Ah,
you're not going to be able to set it aside. You just have to do it, and it starts, like you're saying, that accumulative process of start with just finding love in your heart and radiating it out before you wake up in the morning, before you open your eyes and before you put your feet on the floor. I mean, that changes everything in your household. I love it because it changes everything in my day, but then it's kind of, I come from a place of love, and then it's like, how many people can I affect, and how many people can I energetically shift their energy just
yep,
by radiating out joy.
yep,
And it's a game. I mean, it really is. It's those playing with those universal laws and understanding, how the energies work and what frequency you vibrate at, so that you are consciously manifesting and creating things that you want actively into and desire in your world to be. So it's a
Jenn,
beautiful
you
place to
mentioned
live.
about, I'm sorry, go ahead.
It's a beautiful place to live in that space. It's like living on a magic carpet ride.
And everyone wants to be there. If they only knew, it just means changing your thoughts. And I don't know what kind of, you'd mentioned earlier and about, worthy. I think that a lot of folks feel not worthy, and it could be old programming, negative programming,
Yeah,
abusive programming, that you were told you were nothing, you were no good, et cetera and so forth. But you can change that. You can change that. You're not, you're not a child anymore. You're not in an abusive relationship anymore. And it takes, I think, reprogramming, re-downloading, all of the beautiful and perfect things that you are, because, what is that saying? God don't make no junk. And,
no,
but it does take sometimes more, it takes reprogramming. Would you agree on that? If someone has
absolutely.
come from a very, been beaten down and told they were worthless, how do you approach that?
So actually, I have a 8-week, I want to say, challenge, but it's not really a challenge. We're going to walk through what the 7 chakras are. And I'm launching that dorsal, like 11/7, is when we're going to start. That'll be our first 90-minute meeting. But up until then, there's homework and really diving into, we're going to start with the root chakra, diving into what that is. And there's so much in there. Like, there's so much fear and, like you say, programming from cultural and spiritual and religious shoulda, coulda, wouldas out there, that I feel this workshop is just going to walk people through and kind of give them a little bit of a glimpse of how to really shift that perspective, as well as be accountable to themselves and to a community that are wanting to learn and to change and to grow. I mean, I still learn. That's what I love about workshops and retreats, is I still learn something every
Oh, of
single day
course.
from somebody. And
Absolutely.
having that community of like-minded people, maybe somebody else asks a question that you didn't think of, or that you kind of thought of but didn't know how to ask. So it's priceless to do this and to grow and to learn and kind of, break open this shell together. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited to walk people through just how to really, really in your daily life change those thought patterns and put it into action.
Awesome. And that's great because many people, they come from various levels of background, but they don't know where to start, and everything is energy, people. And so, if you have a need to free up your chakras, to be the best version of yourself that you can, and have a community and a support, reach out to Jenn, because she's going to walk you through that. And, by being our most authentic and vulnerable selves, we give permission for others to do the same. And I think that's what's really beneficial about having a group, kind of a group camaraderie, that you do feel safe. You do have a common thread, and you are all seekers. And aren't we all seekers,
Yes.
to be and live the best life that we can. So that when we walk in a room, our energy introduces us in a phenomenal way, because you know what? There's nobody like you. You are a unique, precious, beautiful soul. And Jenn, I thank you. You are a unique, precious, beautiful soul. I love your eyes, even with just in the car. Your eyes. Thank you so much for reaching back out to me and being my guest on my
absolutely
55th episode. And glad I could wear my Tina wig again. And again, what's love got to do with it? Everything. So go, and as you approach this weekend with the kiddos, I know my granddaughter had a parade. She was Medusa that I couldn't attend. But
I love Medusa.
But go out and right now, just give yourself a big hug, if not just mentally, because you know what? Happiness, and I tell my kids this, is an inside job. And as much as, healers like Jenn can help you, it really starts, you have to do the work. She can guide you and give you tools, but you've got to do the work. So be prepared to do the work, because you're worth it. You are so worth it. So until next week, stay positive, stay hopeful, stay connected, and thanks for connecting with me and Jenn today. And if you enjoyed this video, please share it with someone who needs to know, and have a beautiful weekend. Thanks again, Jenn.
Bye for now.